Shalom, shalom, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to another AOI story time. I'm your brother Ananias.
And your brother Yakub.
Today we're going to be dealing with what most people would call UFOs, unidentified flying objects, or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenons, or as we know in the truth, chariots. But we're going to go over today's story is going to be called Brother Gives Testimony of Sightings of UFOs. So we're going to dive right into it. Once again, welcome. We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel, and we got to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua Mashiach for the glory and greatness of all things. And we appreciate you tuning in. But want to give a brother Yakub special thanks for stopping through, to give his testimony today. Brothers and sisters, I'm sure the nation of Israel have accounts or sightings that they've seen throughout their lifetime. Really couldn't explain it, didn't know what it was, they didn't know if they were crazy or not. But today we're going to get a testimony from one of the brothers that's in the truth, been holding it down for a minute, putting his life on the line, on a constant for the nation of Israel. So, we're going to get right into it. Welcome, Brother Yakub. How you doing, King?
Brother, hey, thank you, brother, for having me here. I'm doing fine, King.
All praise, all praise. So, I understand you got a good story for us.
Yeah, it's a good story, bro. And hopefully Israel get encouraged by hearing it. I know I was encouraged by seeing it. So, yeah, man, this incident that happened, saying it was something miraculous, something that I never thought I'd see before. So I'm hoping, you guys take something from it.
All praise. Because one of the things that you learn by being in this truth as a repentant Israelite, waking up and understanding who you are, you realize that the so-called UFOs or UAPs that the world knows is actually speaking of the chariots or the clouds that are written in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that you come to learn by being in this truth. So, without further ado, we're going to let the brother bring it out, give y'all some understanding. Hopefully you can, it resonates with you, where you can no longer feel or think one way about yourself, but understand there's other brothers going through or seeing the same things or dealing with the same things. But it's on you, King.
Yeah.
So, when did it start? Or when was the first time you had you seen your first sighting or whatnot?
Well, believe it or not, it was early in the morning.
Well, you know what? Okay, my bad. Let's take it a little bit further back. How long you been in the truth, brother?
Oh man, it's been over 8 years, I say. Something like that, about 8 years.
8 years. All praises to Yahweh by Shimei.
All praise to the Most High.
It's a mighty brother. He put in good work all the time, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You get a chance, check out some of the videos. Brother be bringing that heat. But nonetheless, so being in the truth, when you found out about the chariots, was there something shocking to you, or was it something that connected the dots, or what?
Man, it was shocking, but at the same time, like you said, it did kind of connect things together, because even when I was younger, man, I believed in it, but just never thought it was kind of fake at first. And after hearing so many stories from other people talk about it in movies and different things of sort, I kind of sort of believe, okay, maybe it's something to this UFO stories, something to this UFO, I would say madness, because that's at one time is talked about all the time, with the movies with Will Smith, was that Independence Day,
right.
Yeah, other movies, Mars Attacks, different things that
unsolved mysteries,
right. And I remember my uncle, he used to always have me watching, X-Files. That was a favorite show, and I know many Israel love it too.
All-time classic right there.
And so I was always kind of like always on the edge of, wanting to know more about it, if they were real, if they wasn't, that type of thing, or do we have other beings on, outside the earth? as many of you brothers and sisters guessed the same thing, and I'm pretty sure you wondered and pondered whether or not were there other beings out there, you know. And so I myself has thought the same thing. So, but nevertheless, in the truth, when we came, you know, coming into the truth, we come into the understanding that there are other things that the Lord created outside of us, you know. And so, of course, UFOs is like, you know, it's a hot topic because it's a hot thing because everybody, back in your mind, are they real? Are they not? You know, so to so. And I ain't gonna lie, I always been like a, you know, science fiction geek to a degree. I like sci-fi movies and different things of that sort. However the case, never thought, you know, I would ever experience an encounter of a UFO, you know, or what they call UAP. So, but let me tell you, Israel, this is what happened. So, I was always praying, man, you know, that I would see one day. And one day I was doing a job for a lady, and I was painting, you know, it was a paint job. And I was on the side of the lady house, and it was hot. It was hot. It was one of those summer days, man, where it was like,
so this was during the day?
During the daytime.
Okay.
And it was like 90 degrees. So I was painting. I was on the ladder, you know, and I seen this white dot, like kind of like going back and forth in the sky. And you know, I don't know whether I was hallucinating or what, but this dot was like kind of like going back and forth. At first I thought maybe it was like a bird or something. Now that's crazy. I know a white dot can't be a bird, you know, but it was from a distance. I didn't know what it was, so I thought maybe it was like a bug or something, you know. So I put my phone on record, and I recorded it. I can see a little bit more better, and it was just this white speck in the sky going back and forth. And it never crossed my mind that it could have been a chariot, you know, a UFO.
Were you in the truth at that time?
Yeah, yes sir, I was in the truth.
Okay.
And it never crossed my mind, because you never think that you'd be able to see it, or you know. But all praise anyway. I showed a family member, and they too thought it was a chariot, possibly, you know. And so that was my first, like, very first encounter that I can remember. Say that I remember.
So you sure that it was a chariot or a UFO? you know the people want to know, man. I mean,
right.
What makes you believe that it was that and not a bird or a bug, you know?
Man, I'm telling you, look, man, even today, I'm kind of like in disbelief.
I mean, you know, I'm listening to the story, and you said it was a hot day. You might have been out there for a while, you know. Sun, you might have been hallucinating or whatnot, you know, hey, seeing spots, you know. I mean, you know, we get dizzy when we start seeing them stars like the cartoons, man. You know, so.
Well, man, I can tell you, I drank some Gatorade before that time, even during that time. So I was a little hydrated, you know. But nevertheless, man, it's just that spot was in the sky. It was there. And like I said, I'm just still kind of shocked.
Well, you did say you got it on the phone, though, right?
I had it on the phone.
Okay.
I had it on the phone, man. And I want to show you, brothers, but that's another different story. My phone got a cheap phone.
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
Okay. I see. Look, nobody.
We understand, brother. We understand.
You know, people barely believe these stories, man. So, but yeah, that was my first encounter. I would say that it might have been a UFO, which I believe it was a chariot, but nevertheless.
All right, brother. So you said you had another encounter, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Another sighting or whatnot?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, so the next time I seen one, I was on my way to work, you know, and you know, get up every morning, early in the morning, you know, get my lunch and everything, rushing out the door, trying to make it to the plantation, you know. And
y'all got this story.
you feel me? And I'm traveling, man. I'm going, you know, not even thinking that I'm going to see a chariot or anything like that sort today, you know, in the morning, whatever. However the case, I'm on this back road, you know, in a rural area, and there's no lights, you know, no lights, nothing but the stars in the sky, and in my headlights, and so I'm going through this hick town. I'm not paying any attention. I'm trying to, you know, drive, and I need something to pep me up. So I turn on the radio. You know, usually I'm listening to like either Ricky Smile in the morning or listen to some type of hip hop or something kind of get me going, whatever. So I turn the radio on, and like right over my head, as I put my head down and looking through my peripheral view, I can see some type of object, you know, which I thought it was a bird. I didn't know what it was, but I know it sounds crazy. Like, what bird is going to be up? I mean, it's going to be late at night, you know, flying over a car. But I thought it was a bird. But this object, it had like blue light, like a blue aural light around it at the bottom of it, and I caught a glimpse of it. So I was like, what was that? You know, so I paid no never mind. But like seconds later, this same object, it went around, like it went over these trees. And this time I could see it real good. And it went over these trees. It went under this, like this, I guess, another hill or whatever. It went over it, and then it just kind of zoomed out a little bit.
So it was kind of looking like the flying saucers that we see in the movies, Independence Day, or was it more like a baseball or plate, a frisbee? What we looking at, bro?
Right. Okay. Well, it was like a round. I would say like a plate. I guess you could say that. I won't say necessarily a saucer, but yeah, you know, it was round, like a plate, you know. And so it was like a blue light underneath it. You know how these new cars have that blue looking light, like LED, whatever. But this one was like, it was kind of different. It was like real soft, but not, it was bright though, but not like, you know, you couldn't stand it to see it, but it was like a blue light over it. I mean, under it. And it went over the trees, and it went like it was on a mission or something. And I ain't gonna lie, it seemed kind of like it wanted me to see it. It was crazy.
You said you had prayed for that one time, right?
Yeah, I did, man. I prayed, and because I, you know, you being in the truth, we knowing that these things exist now. You know, like I said, I was always a fan of sci-fi and different, you know, like science fiction movies and stuff like that. Right. And I grew up watching these things, and I always wanted to see one, because I hear a lot of people talk about it, but everybody say, hey, these the people that wear the tinfoil hats and stuff like that. You know, right? They just want something to grab to, whatever. But I never thought I'd be that person that would be speaking about a sighting of a UFO. You know, never thought I'd ever see it, you know, in my day of my life.
So if I was a brother or sister and I possibly seen one of these things, should I be feeling strange? Should this thing be normal, or?
No lie, as I was driving, right, when I seen it go over these trees, and it kind of just went on, kind of like in a slow type of way, not too slow, but kind of grooving on.
Like it was letting you know I see you.
That's what it seemed like. It was like it was trying to, hey, I see you. All right, now
you see me,
right? You see me.
You asked, you know. Here I am.
That's what it seemed like, bro. Don't lie. But I did hit the brakes. I ain't gonna lie. I hit the brakes, and I just stuck for about 2 minutes, because I can't believe I just seen what they call UFO. And man, I was so shocked, and I was kind of like, I turned the radio off, and I was just thinking to myself the whole way to work, thinking like, man, what I just seen? What was that I just saw? And I said, nobody gonna believe me. You know, I barely believe what I just seen. You know, and man, I tell you, it was it's a sight, man, and it's a sight to see. And I hope one day maybe I can see it more vividly. Now, I'm not going to tell you no story. It's not like it's something that you don't see every day. So it's not scary, but it's kind of shocking and more so. It's like, whoa, did I just see that? Sort of scary, but more shocking because you don't. If you ask for something right then and there, and then you seen it then and there, and then it won't be so bad.
Right.
But if you see something that just happened, just out the blue, just like an accident or something like that happened, you're like, oh my God, you'd be amazed.
So what do you actually find out by being in the truth about the chariot? What do you actually find out about?
Well, one thing, being in the truth now, understanding about the chariots, you understand that the chariots are for the children of Israel. So that did bring some comfort to me as well, because at the same time, viewing this chariot, I know that it's for our people, So that brought some comfort too. So I was shocked, but at the same time, thought, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was paused in this rural area for about this little hick town for about 2 minutes, just stuck. But then later on, I thought about it, hey man, the chariots are for the nation of Israel.
That's right.
So,
So I mean, like, what's in the chariots, or what do the truth tell you about the chariots, though?
Well, the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel gives his account of the chariots. He called them with the wheel and the wheel. Mm-hmm. And so I think he explained it that the chariots had the wheels had eyes on them. And now I didn't necessarily see the whole thing, but I seen the bottom, and it was like a wheel. Uh-huh. It was like a wheel, and you can tell it was something in between it that was spinning to a degree. But it was a blue light, it was a round blue light that stayed on. And I can take that from what Ezekiel, with his account, I can really say that I seen a round wheel type of object. And also Ezekiel says that it was so big, he explained the measurement, I believe. And I seen it now. I didn't see it so close where I can get like a full sight of it, but I did see it good enough where I could say it was pretty big, but not, big as Ezekiel explained it, but it was a big chariot. Nevertheless, the Bible does have multiple accounts of other prophets that have encountered the chariot. We know about Enoch. If your brothers and sisters haven't heard of Enoch, I know that he encountered one. Of course, we know Yahweh went back up in one. And others too. Elijah is right. Elijah went back up.
I mean, I think in Exodus, had the chariot walking before the children of Israel when they was, in the wilderness.
Right.
And there was one behind them. You know what I'm saying? One. Matter of fact, let me get this. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 19. It says, "And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud." The cloud is another way of saying the chariot also in scripture. It said the cloud went before their face and stood behind them, and it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and a darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. So, you had this chariot that was basically blocking the Egyptians from getting close to the Israelites,
Mm-hmm.
But it also led the Israelites by night, you know what I'm saying, with the pillar of fire.
Right.
I mean, even when you, like the brother was bringing out, when you read Matthew 24, I believe, it's talking about Matthew 24 and 30, it says, "Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So when Christ, as you know it, or Yahushua, returns, he's going to come in a chariot, you know, with great glory, you know, meaning he's going to come with his troops to come get his people. That's the real rapture that Esau be talking about. But, you know, the word rapture is not in the scriptures. But I don't want to take away from the story, brother.
No.
Did you say it was a couple that actually was like the first account of somebody seeing some UFOs?
Yeah. It was a couple named Barney and Betty Hill, and it was an interracial couple. Now, this happened back in, I think it was 1961, and they said this is one of the first recordings of an abduction that happened in the United States that people that they can remember. But however, the couple was driving through a rural area, like, you know, just like I did somewhat to the degree. But get to the point, they were driving, and they said that this UFO stopped right dead in front of them, and right above them, and they was just stuck there looking at it. And the UFO was there, it stood still, and they said about 2-3 hours later, they was in their car still, and like nothing happened. But they both experienced being on the ship. You know, they was like, what happened to it? What happened to all the time? Because they remember they had a location to go to at a certain time, but it was 3 hours after they last looked at the clock.
Man, you sure ain't nobody club them over the head? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you would think that maybe, you know, but nah, I think they went to their car, man. I don't think they would let them stay alive. But yo, it was so crazy that the couple said that they stood there in the car for about a couple of minutes until they realized that they were like, you know, they were like 3 hours behind. And so they just went home. And they said they went home and they were scared to talk to each other for a while. And they finally came and talked to each other like, do you think we've been like taken away from our car? And the husband said, yeah, I believe so, because I experienced something similar. He said, I felt like I was gone. And the wife, I think her name was Betty, she said she felt like she was experimented on some type of way while she was abducted. She don't remember the faces of the things, but she said she remembered whatever it was trying to experiment on her to a degree.
So that's probably where that narrative started, where they started making movies and TV shows about being abducted,
right?
Experimented on, you know,
right?
You know, the real people that be doing the experimentation, Esau,
right?
So-called white people, you know, they the ones always experimenting. They want to blame it on aliens
every time.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. When you actually read the scriptures, you find out that the other nations are considered the aliens.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And they the one constantly, especially Esau and Moab, doing experiments.
That's right.
Putting folks in labs and probing them and doing all. They are the actual aliens doing the probing or the experiment. Right. But that's another story for another time. You know. But you know, I had I remember last year, or early at the beginning of this year, you know, CNN was reporting damn near every day in January talking about the different UFO sightings. You know, it was saying that, matter of fact, I got the article pulled up. It's from Smithsonian magazine. It said more than 350 new UFO sightings are added to U.S. government records. It said United States government has logged more than 350 new reports of UFOs since March 2021. So, you know what I'm saying, the sightings have damn near doubled.
Man, that's a lot. That's a lot in 1 year. You know? And I guess nowadays a lot of sightings getting reported because of social media and different things like that. You know, and a lot of people are not like afraid to talk about it as they used to. Like I'm still today, you know, just kind of feel like people don't think I'm crazy, you know. So, and it's probably more people have seen it, but they don't like talking about it because of the fact people think they're crazy.
Right.
But just because we don't see it on an everyday basis, don't mean that these things don't exist, and don't think that these things don't happen. So there's a lot of people that's out here that see it, but just don't have the nerve to talk about it because hey, they don't get locked up in some crazy house.
Right.
You know.
But the real reason why those sightings double, right? You know what I'm saying? Because the children of Israel waking the hell up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The more we wake up as a nation, the more chariot sightings we're gonna see, and we're gonna start to see the economies all around the world start to break down and be destroyed. You know,
that's right.
Come to crash and halt. I put it that way. You know, the more we wake up as a nation, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, more chariot sightings you're gonna start to see. The more brothers you're gonna see on the corners, on the highways and byways around the world as we continue to wake up. You know? So keep that in mind, Israel. But let me ask you this. Once again, for those who have seen these things before, you know what I'm saying, should they be scared? Should they talk about it? Should they be comfortable with it? Should they build their faith or what? You know.
Well, definitely, I would say, brothers and sisters, if you ever encounter one, you're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be shocked, and you're not gonna, know what to do because you never seen it before. And whatever was on your mind before that time, you're gonna forget about it at that moment because you're gonna see what you just experienced, something that's out of this world, something that we've never seen before. But I would say, don't be scared. One thing about the scriptures have gave us comfort in knowing that the chariots of the Most High, well, the world called UFOs, but we understand them as the chariots, and they're here for us as a people.
That's right.
So once I learned that in the scriptures that the chariots are for Israel, hey, that's one way we know that, hey, we got a way out of this thing. So the Lord is always watching us. He has his angels reporting the things we do. So best believe, man, we have protection out there, Israel. So what we doing is for something, this truth, we think it a lot of times that it's just, oh man, these guys just making this up or, whatever. Or sometimes you might get tired. Sometimes you may, get weary, but hey, Israel don't give up. Hey, those chariots were definitely a faith booster. Let me know that this walk is not in vain.
That's right. So we definitely encourage you, brothers and sisters, if you got any type of stories, situations or events or encounters, hey, hit us up in the comments. Hit us up with the email. You can also go to our YouTube page. Subscribe, like, comment. The regular. But let me leave you with this last scripture, because it's important that you continue in your walk, continue putting in work day in and day out for this truth, for your people. But this is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. It says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." So don't ever give up, even though you see the sightings. These things should build your faith up. Continue to push. Continue to give your stories and your testimony to help wake your brothers and sisters up. And I want to give a special shout out to the brother Yakub for his testimony on giving UFOs and chariots the experience to our brothers and sisters so that they can wake the hell up. But anything you want to add, brother? We appreciate you getting on.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, brother. So, hey, I would say this one thing, Israel, hey, you know, Lord willing, one day you guys will encounter. And if you do ever see one, hey man, look, I made it Most High, you know, boost your faith. You know, may it lift you up and understand that, hey, look, we almost out this thing, man.
That's right.
You know.
So on that note, I want to give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua. And I'm Brother Ananias.
And your brother Yakub.
By AOI, The Awakening of Israel. And we appreciate you tuning in to another AOI story time. And on that note, we say shalom.
Shalom.